this module we will discuss about linguistics and how the ancient Indian knowledge system as such has played very significant roles in the development of linguistics. That's the subject matter for us to discuss. Before we get into the details, let's first of all start with the role of language. And I don't have to overemphasize to you when we all know why do we need a language. In fact, if two people meet, you need something common to talk. You want to ask how are you doing and did you have breakfast. Language is a medium of communication. I mean, that everybody knows. But more seriously, scientific discovery, advancement of knowledge, collaborative working, all these require a common method of communication. Similarly, communication is key to trade, science and technology, and societal progress. And all these mean that it all hinges on our ability to effectively process language. And nowadays you have applications using artificial intelligence, the AI techniques that they talk about and so on. Then we have what is called natural language processing, NLP capabilities. All these are bordering on this whole idea of language. How do you develop a language? How do you make it very useful, especially in the computer era for AI and NLP capabilities and so on. So therefore, a systematic study of languages and their capabilities for the evolving requirements is very important for the science and technology community. And that is where, with that lens, we may want to look at the ancient Indian contributions. So studying the structure of the language helps us not lose the underlying principles that govern a language. That's why we need to study the structure of a language. It will also ensure that the received wisdom from the ancestors is not lost. That's why we need to understand the whole idea of language. So talking of language, if you look at the components of language, what happens is, one way to look at is in terms of what kind of skills. Now the skills can be receptive skills or productive skills. Language, you need to receive, you need to produce also. So we can look at it, that's one dimension of language. The other dimension of language is the medium used. It can be sound or it can be script. So if you put these 2 by 2 together, what happens? If sound is the medium, then receptive skill is listening and productive skill is speaking. If script is the medium we use, then receptive skill is reading and productive skill is writing. So these are the 4 components of a language. A language must provide itself very nicely, very robustly structures and mechanisms which help us do the job of listening, speaking, reading, writing, all these things well. That's where the whole thing comes, and the whole idea of linguistics comes there. So linguistics is a branch of language research. It's a research on the language, sort of, we can think like that. That provides a scientific study of a language. It provides a systematic study of language to understand speech, sounds, grammatical structures and their meaning. Because only then all these receptive, productive skills of either the sound and script, all that will happen very well. It helps us also to analyze the language form and meaning and identify systematic methods integral to the language to derive the word forms and their meaning using structured rules and syntax. So this is how this whole idea of linguistics have to happen. So with this quick introduction to what is linguistics, why do we need language and so on, we will now step into the Indian knowledge system angle to the whole thing. We will try to understand what has Indian knowledge system to offer in the domain of linguistics. That's what the videos that we will see which will follow.